Hi, girls. Welcome back to another episode of the Inner Path podcast. I'm your host, Bia, and as always, I'm really excited to be here. I feel like today I really wanted to bring this cozy vibe to the podcast because it's the holiday season, and I really didn't have anything planned for today, but I know that a lot is gonna come through, like a lot of downloads, a lot of wisdom, a lot of inspiration, because I've been feeling really inspired lately, and I just really want to share everything that has been on my mind, because it's literally like the last few weeks of this year, and it's so important to me to work on that energetically and really start reflecting on 2023 and what I want to create for 2024. Just looking back at every single thing that I have manifested this year, every single time that I thought I wasn't gonna get back up, that I wasn't gonna be able to face the challenges, and that I was gonna fail, or that I was gonna lose myself or anything like that, and just being able to look back at that and realize like I overcame all those things and I manifested so much this year, and just really understanding that life is evolving. I am evolving, and sometimes we think we're not evolving fast enough. Sometimes we think that there's always so much more to do, and there is, but at the same time I think that it's so important for us to really take a minute, chill out, take a break, and realize, damn, I have been doing a lot, and I have created a lot, and things are slowly shifting, or things are really very fast-pacedly, if that's even a word, but they have been changing. Whatever is your reality, whatever happened this year for you, the fact that you're here and you're committed to this journey, or you want to start being committed to this, but just the fact that you're here and you're willing to try, you're willing to figure it out, you're willing to see another way for your life to go, and for things to happen, that's already such a win. And I don't think you understand that, but let me tell you that I think in 10 years we're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, damn, those little steps that felt like nothing, just choosing to listen to that podcast, choosing to take that course, choosing to read that book, just choosing to commit to one daily habit a day, or no matter how small it feels. I always say this, but I think it's always good to have that reminder, because we do tend to forget that and be so harsh with ourselves, but it's every single small step counts and adds up and builds up a lot of strength and a lot of energy that eventually will manifest into good things, if obviously the energy is put into good things, right? But if you're on this journey, I'm guessing that that's what you've been doing. You've been learning to take care of yourself, you've been learning to journal, to be on this journey for real. At this point, guys, 2024 is almost coming. I know that a lot of us tend to say, oh, I want life to change, and I want things to get better, and I want to be that bitch, and 2024 is going to be my year, but don't just say that, I think it's really important for you to, if you mean that shit, actually commit to it. This is the moment of, don't take bullshit from yourself anymore. It's time for us to be for real with ourselves and be like, okay, I want to change. I'm not pleased, I'm not satisfied, I'm not happy, I'm not content, I don't want to settle. It's good that we're recognizing that, and now it's time to actually do things about it, actually do something about it. And I feel yes, we have evolved so much, or at least I feel like a lot of people around me, in my groups, in the goddess codes, in my friendships, a lot of people are evolving. I feel so much good information is available for us, and that's not going unnoticed. But at the same time, I do feel a lot of people tend to get stuck at a certain point on this path, when it means that you don't just learn these things, but you actually have to put them in practice. You actually have to act on these things. You actually have to take those steps. You actually have to be the person that you think about, be the person that is best for you, if that makes sense. It's we know what we should be doing, but sometimes we don't do those things. And 2024 is the year for you to get real with yourself. If you feel if you feel like you really didn't create the desired reality for yourself this year, because I'm not saying that you have to manifest everything in 1 year. Like, you're not supposed to, honestly. There's so many manifestations that I had for 2023 that didn't come to life. I guess I also want you guys to know that, which is, it's okay. Like, the point of manifest or wanting to manifest things, the point of creating a vision board, the point of creating goals, it's not to necessarily do all of them. It's supposed to give you some kind of guidance, some kind of like vision, perspective. It's supposed to give you some kind of structure or guideline that will help you navigate your year, but always considering the fact that there is also a need for some space, for some surrendering, in which you have to just let go. You just have to embrace whatever happens, because obviously so much shit goes unexpectedly. Like, a lot of things that happen to us, we're not predicting it to happen. And it doesn't mean that because of that your dreams can't come true, but it means that sometimes things shift. Sometimes your timeline changes. Sometimes what you thought you were going to be manifesting this year, it's only for the next. Or maybe it's not even this year, it's already here right now. Like, for example, one of my manifestations for 2024 is to invest in stocks, like invest my money and not just save, not just like, I want to learn how to manage my money properly. This is a big manifestation for me this year. In 2023, I started working on my money mindset, but I feel like I could have gone a little deeper, well, much deeper into it. That's the truth. Like, I feel like I kind of gave up on it because life got in the way, which is okay. But I am aware of it, and I want to do better, and I want to, like, now that I understand that it is a big thing and it is blocking me a lot, in order, like, I want to receive more money. I want to be rich. I want to be a millionaire. Like, those things might make you uncomfortable to hear, but I'm at the point where I'm okay with saying that. Like, I'm at the point where I feel like I have normalized that for myself, because thankfully I have, people around me that don't make weird faces when I say that and don't judge me for it, that actually hype me up, that believe in that vision, that believe I can make it. And especially my best friend, like, having certain money conversations with her, it's always good. This is why I think environment is so important, because it does help you build that belief and that strength in whatever you want to believe in whatever narrative you're trying to create for yourself. Because if I'm saying I want to be a millionaire and I'm gonna become a millionaire, or I am becoming a millionaire, and you're saying that to people that like don't know anything about money, that don't believe you can make it, that are always complaining about taxes and how everything is more expensive, like it's not gonna help you, right? And so I understand that maybe for a lot of you, me saying this is kind of like, what the fuck is she talking about? But it's the truth, because the more I realize that I want to live the life of my dreams, the more I understand that I want to have money to do that. Like, I'm not saying that money buys happiness. It definitely buys survival and it buys a lot of like comfort, but it's more that I want to live a big life in every way. And I don't think that makes me materialistic, because I don't think it comes from a selfish place. It comes from a place of, I want to have my music studio, and I want to create music, and I want to have a house that feels comfortable to me, and I want to be able to travel the world, and I want to be able to eat out and order in and all those things, like it's a pure desire in my heart, and I don't think money is evil at this point. So in that sense, I feel like I did work a lot on my money mindset, but I do think that there's a next level to it, more connected to my business. And so one of the things that I wanted to do this year was I want to start manifesting. I want to start investing, like investing in stocks, putting money aside, because I want my money to multiply. I don't want to work for money. I want money to work for me. I want money to like just multiply without me having to put any extra effort into it. I don't want to work for my time, meaning I don't want to exchange hours for money. Like, I don't want to work 10 hours and for those 10 hours I receive that. I want to work like whatever I want to work, like how long I want to work for, and I want to receive like 10 times more of the money that you usually would, like that's what I want. And so one of my manifestations for 2024 is I want to invest my money. I want to put it in stocks. I want to start like creating that net of just money, money multiplying, money working for me, of securing my retirements, all of those things which used to make me feel so uncomfortable. But now I'm realizing, like, it's not still my comfort zone for sure. It still stretches a bit out. Well, it still stretches a lot outside of my comfort zone, but I'm definitely more willing to go there now. And it's funny because the year hasn't even ended and I actually just invested in stocks, which I'm super happy about. So what I mean is, like, your goals don't necessarily have to manifest in the timeline that you think they do. If you say, like, oh, for 2024 I want to get my driver's license, that's something that I want to do because I don't have my driver's license yet. Or I want to like get a promotion, or I want to find my partner, or I want to find this and that, or like, you have all these goals and all these things that you want to manifest, and that is good. But also give yourself space to, like, go with the flow and figure it out, because things are not going to happen exactly as you're predicting it. For the most part, they're probably not, and it doesn't mean that something is going wrong. Sometimes you just have to go on side quests, like, you have to go on side quests sometimes to have the tools and to have the skill and to have the knowledge that you need for the main quest, for the main vision, right? Like, for me this year, again, one of the things that I wanted to commit to was that money mindset, and I ended up focusing a lot on other things like my worthiness, because I was kind of like hurting, my heart was hurting from heartbreak that I was experiencing, and so there was a lot of things happening that kind of made me focus on that and work on those things rather than focusing on money. But also, after all of that, I started refocusing back into my business, and it gave me a lot of perspective, and it helped me get clear on what I wanted and, like, what my mission is, what my purpose is. And I feel more connected than ever to my business. Like, I feel like it's mine. It feels like it's truly me. And obviously there are definitely things that, there are things to work on. There are always things to work on. I always say this, like, there is always more depth to whatever it is that you think you've healed from, or you think you've, like, fixed or something, like, there's always something more, and that's okay. Because like, as you're figuring all of that out, as you're getting deeper and deeper into those things, you're actually opening more and more to the things that you desire, to the life that you want to create. So it's not a bad thing. It's like, every time you go deeper into the same wound, it might be the same wound or the same limiting belief, but every time you go there, it actually unlocks more and more doors for you. So that's the journey of your life, and that's why each one of us have different things to work through, because each one of us have to unlock different doors because we have different purposes. That's just the truth, right? Or that's how I perceive the truth. And so, yeah, like, give yourself time. I think that's the first thing that I want to say. Give yourself time. Like, yes, do those goals, like, create those goals, like, set those things, do your vision board. I'm definitely doing my vision board. I want to do it this week already, before New Year's Eve, or maybe during New Year's Eve, but definitely before 2024. But also, give yourself space. And it's kind of paradoxical, because it's a weird line. It's a really fine line, but very weird, between, like, going for it and also letting go. It's like, okay, you need to pursue your goals, and with me saying surrender, it doesn't mean, like, just lay back and like, expect everything to come to you, because that's how it works. It doesn't. Like, you still have to put effort into the things. Like, if you want to make money, you don't just sit around and wait for shit to happen. Like, you still go out there and make it happen. But if things happen along the way, then try to understand, okay, what is happening here? What is this trying to teach me? What is serving me right now and what isn't? And that's how you work through unlocking certain things and removing certain internal, it's always internal obstacles, really. Like, any obstacle you perceive outside of yourself is an obstacle that exists within you, if that makes sense. So it's like, any challenge that is happening around you, any challenge that you face, is just confronting you with whatever is blocking you internally from getting to where you want to go. And so, damn, that was good. Do you want? I'm gonna say that again. It's like every single challenge that you're experiencing outside of yourself, that you're experiencing in your life, in your reality, is a reflection of the like limitations that you need to unlock for yourself. Like the challenges are helping you face those limits. They're helping you face those wounds. They're helping you unlock those doors and unlock the new, more improved, more evolved version of you. That's kind of how it works. That's what I've been experiencing throughout these last few years since I, became more conscious about spirituality and this path. And so this year I definitely manifested a lot of the things that I wanted to, but not all of them. Like I wanted to manifest 10k downloads for my podcast and I didn't, but that's my manifestation for 2024, and we'll see what happens. Like I'm gonna work for it, probably harder than I did before. And when I say harder, I don't mean necessarily harder as in like put more hours in, but definitely like, well, maybe I should say work smarter, right? Like I want to work more efficiently. I feel like my vision is clearer. Like I know what I want, and I feel like I have a better idea of how to get there. Because every single side quest, like every single thing that happened throughout my year kind of gave me the knowledge and the wisdom and the tools and the courage and the resilience and like the perspective that I needed to now make that happen for me. Another, like my biggest manifestation for this year, that it is manifesting, which I'm so excited about, is meeting my best friend. So I know I talk a lot about my best friend here. Her name is Lisa. She's actually been on the podcast before, but I love her. We have been friends for 3 years, around that, like 2.5 years, 3. And it's actually crazy. I don't think anyone really knows the story besides like my actual friends, but it's basically we have met online when I was working on my witchy business. I was doing tarot lives on TikTok, and we met through there, and since then we've been friends and our friendship grew a lot. There was like a moment in time where we kind of fell apart a bit, like basically we just got a bit distant for like a few months, I remember. But after that we kind of built the friendship back up. It's not like something happened, it was just life was happening. I was going through my toxic relationship. I was trying to run away from it, but at the same time not. And so I was just like struggling a lot, and I started isolating myself. And then basically I basically started talking to her again after those months. And it's been a year since we've been like very much cultivating this friendship very consciously and very committed. Like we're very committed to our friendship, and we have built a beautiful friendship. And throughout like these 3 years that we've been friends, so many times, like we've talked about, visiting each other, like her coming to Portugal, me going to the Netherlands, but it has never happened before. And we were kind of upset about it. Like either something came up, or I didn't have the money to go, or she couldn't, or like we were just always like out of sync, if that makes sense. And it really frustrated us. We started thinking like, what if it's just not for us? What if we're not meant to meet? What if we're not meant to meet because we wouldn't handle it well? What if we find out that we don't like each other? Because like we're online friends. That's the truth for now. I'm actually catching the flight tomorrow, and I'm gonna spend New Year's Eve there. I've been kind of talking a little bit about it on my stories, but without giving it all away, because I really want you guys to like be in this with me and feel as excited as I am. And I know a lot of you also know Lisa, so it's gonna be really cool that we're gonna be together, like the baddest bitches together. I feel like the squad is just gonna I'm super excited about it. But my point is, the fact that it has only happened now, I really don't think it's a coincidence. Like we've never been better in our friendship, and throughout this entire year we've worked so much in like working we've worked through so much in working. We've worked through a lot of wounds, through a lot of our own things that we needed to work through in order to make our relationship what it is today. Because when you're scared of judgment, or when you're scared of rejection or abandonment, or you have certain wounds, you've had bad experiences in the past with your friendships, like all those things that builds up inside of you when it's not really when you don't really face it, or when you don't really address it. And so that just kind of builds up inside of you, and it then gets projected onto your friendships, onto your relationships. And for us, it was kind of like working through all of those things, because in our friendship, all of it came through. Like all of it started to come up, like our shadows, our insecurities, our like limiting beliefs, our fears, like every single thing. And for a lot of months, it was really hard. We were always like not fighting, I don't want to say fighting, but we had a lot of conflicts come up because we are very different. And we have different ways of perceiving the world, but we were all, I think both of us were kind of defensive with each other in a lot of ways. Like, there was just a lot of fear and a lot of a lot of fear and insecurities behind like our relationship. And I know if we had met each other before, I don't think it would have been good, or at least not as good as it's gonna be right now. Our friendship has been amazing for months, and obviously, like, we still sometimes struggle with communicating, and we have to set boundaries. We have to come together and be like, okay, let's work through this. Okay, I don't feel like we can blah blah blah. Like we still have those conversations. We always have the tough conversations. We try to not ignore it, and it's always hard, but it definitely gets easier with time because we're so committed to this. And I don't want to talk too much about this because I really do plan on making an episode with her, especially since I'm gonna be there. I feel like it's gonna be great to have that perspective and actually bring her to the podcast and have this conversation with her. So I don't want to give too much away, but point being that it's the right time now. I know it's the right time. It's been such a long time, and now I know it's right. And all the side quests, all the conflicts, everything that we had to face, it allowed us to build the beautiful, wholesome, inspiring relationship that we have today. And I know that now we are ready to see each other. We are ready to meet because we have cleared all of those things out. And I'm not saying that things can't come up again, but the bulk of it, the mucky part of it, I feel like most of it is all right. We've overcame it. We have overcome it. Yeah. And so that was probably one of my biggest manifestations for this year, and it's coming coming true right now. I'm just super excited, guys. I swear I'm beyond excited. It's gonna be tomorrow. The flight is at 6 a.m. and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep for real. I'm just so excited. But yeah, so that's one of them, right? And I also had a few about money, a few manifestations about money and about all these other things, and a lot of them didn't come true. Another one that came true was me traveling. I mean, first of all, I'm going to the Netherlands now, but also, as you know, or as you probably know, I spent the entire summer in Italy without really having to worry about money, which is literally what my manifestation said. It's I travel without having to worry about money, and somehow it happened. And I didn't think it would, because I financially in my business, I wasn't at a place where I thought I would have the capacity to do that. Turned out I didn't need my business for anything. I found another way to do it, and it was awesome. But again, everything happened in its own way, not necessarily as I expected it or when. And so we really have to learn to let go of those things, because it kind of eats us from the inside out, we get so stressed about it, we get anxious and it agitated, and we lose sight of the point, which is to enjoy ourselves, and we lose sight of the point, which is to feel good and feel grateful and feel excited and feel in love with life and the world and people, like before we have the physical manifestation of it, before we have the proof, before we have the thing. Like, I don't want to feel successful only when I'm making $1 million a month, you know what I mean? Like, or €1,000,000. I always talk in dollars, like I'm not from Europe, but it's just because I'm so used to hearing people say dollars, and suddenly it's like, yeah, I'm a dollars girl, but I'm not. I'm a euros person. Not that that's bad or something. It's just funny that I always say dollars. But yeah, and so it's like, I don't want to feel successful only then. I want to feel successful now. That's something that I've really been working through, and something that I want to commit to for 2024, which is, you know, like, just feeling successful, feeling worthy, feeling powerful, being in my leadership without needing numbers, without needing people to tell me like, wow, you're awesome, wow, you're inspiring, without having all the money in the world, without having like all the views, without having the 10K downloads. Like, I want to feel that before I have all of it, because I know I can get there, but I don't know when, right? I think a part of me really does know that it's gonna happen, but the when makes me doubt sometimes, because it's like, what if it doesn't, right? Because I don't have it like right now, and so it makes me feel like, what if it never comes? I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live in that, like, what if it doesn't happen? What if blah, blah, blah. Like, it brings you down so much. It makes you feel so shitty about life and so shitty about yourself, and suddenly, like, your entire life gets reduced to that one thing, and you only focus on lack, what you don't have, what is not there. And then it's like life sucks. But then when you get a bigger perspective, like a higher perspective on all those things, and you're like, okay, but what do I have? Like, what are the things that are actually here for me? Like, all those things, suddenly you realize, like, wow, wait a damn minute, like, I actually have a lot of fucking things. Like, I'm actually super privileged. I'm actually like so lucky. I have a house, I have food, I have good weather, I'm doing something that I love. I am receiving a lot of things from the universe constantly, which is also something that I always have so many podcast ideas, guys, but it's something that I really want to bring here is talking about how to receive from the universe, and what's kind of the formula behind it, because I think I've figured it out, or at least to a certain extent, and I really want to share that. And also, since we're talking about the episodes that I want to do, like today I'm talking a little bit more, you know, just relaxed, because I want this to be one of those conversations where we just sit and relax and like have an intimate conversation, you know, just really human, really real. But I am doing an episode about getting ready for 2024. It's coming out in January. I usually spend the entire month of January also working to prepare energetically and mentally and in every way to prepare for 2024. So I am going to do that episode in January already. I want to take a break while I'm in the Netherlands, but you'll have this episode to listen to, so don't worry. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, because today is definitely a more open conversation, but I'm coming here with my points for the next talk, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I've just been looking a lot at my year, and it's crazy. Like, I feel like I'm in a completely different stage as I was before, like the year before, a year ago. I was in a situationship with a guy that I really fucking loved, and he did love me, but he didn't know how to be in a relationship with me, and I didn't know how to choose myself enough to leave. And I stayed until, you know, life kind of happened, and it ripped me from him. That's what it felt like. But really, the universe was doing me such a favor, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have traveled. I wouldn't have created the things that I did. I wouldn't have realized that there was still something like within me, inside of me, that needed to be healed, that needed to be loved, that needed to be addressed. And in that sense, I am grateful. But definitely makes me a bit sad because it feels like we're strangers now, you know, and it always makes me feel some type of way when people that I've known for so long suddenly, or well, maybe not for so long because we don't know each other for that long, but it's more like we knew each other so deeply, so intimately, not just physically. Like the physical part is the least important part. It's more the emotionally, like the mentally, but the emotionally, it's like I don't think I've ever surrendered more to a guy, to a man. I don't think I've ever let go so much, and I don't think I've ever, he just like, I was in my feminine energy, like totally. Like I felt so relaxed, I felt so loose. Like I didn't have to control, I didn't have to have it all figured out or have it all planned or lead. Like I didn't care. Like I felt so safe in so many ways. I've never felt safer with anyone, and so I really got attached to the situation. And I spent this entire year just kind of overcoming that for like 8 months, literally 8 months to like overcome that. And I'm at the point where I do feel like I've moved on from him, but it still hurts a bit. Like sometimes I look at it or I think about him and it hurts a bit, and it still makes me question, like, why don't you call? Like, why don't you text? Why don't you say something? It makes me feel like he doesn't care. And I know it's not, I know he does care, but he just doesn't know how to. But either way, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to use that as an excuse to, I'm not going to excuse him, you know? Like, no. I know he cares, but he doesn't know how to. And I know I have been clear about that, so it's not like I'm just waiting for him to give me something without me communicating it, you know? Like I have been very clear about how this makes me feel, how him like kind of ghosting me makes me feel, and it hasn't changed, and so I just have to accept it. And it's hard, you know? It makes me a bit angry and mad and frustrated, and angry and mad, it's the same thing. and sad. It makes me sad. Like last Christmas, he and I were like still kind of together, and he gave me a Christmas gift, and I remember I just felt so loved, so like, oh, it was beautiful. And not having that and feeling like we basically are completely separate, it kind of hurts for sure. But at the same time, it's like I am so proud of myself for being where I am. Like, damn, this year was absolutely insane. I have grown a lot, especially in my business. And I don't mean that as in numbers. I mean that in the way I perceive myself, in the way I have adapted. Like, I've always struggled with creating structure in my business, and this entire year, for a little while, I was fighting it. I remember my best friend, she was always like, girl, you gotta have schedules, you gotta have structure, you're all over the place. And I'm like, no, I want to go with the flow. Like, it's better for me when I have structure. I feel suffocated. And it was true, but it was not coming from an actual truthful place. It was coming from fear. It was coming from having to step outside of my comfort zone. Because now I understand that for anything to happen, for anything to really flow, you need some kind of structure. For anything to grow, you need structure. Even for anything to expand, you need structure. You need something to hold on to guide yourself with. And creating structure in my business was so fucking important. It really changed my business for me, and it made my mind less overwhelmed and less scattered, and I feel like I'm able to like evolve more quickly. I'm able to do things more efficiently, and it feels really good. Like, it makes me feel like empowered. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel like a leader. I've always struggled seeing myself as a leader, and I think it was partially because the feeling of that responsibility, the feeling of having to be structured and having to be disciplined and having to be committed, it always scared me a bit. And I think it's scaring me less and less. I mean, it's still pretty scary. Like, it's still pretty terrifying to think that, oh my god, like, I'm not talking about a little small business. I'm talking about millions. I'm talking about like being the #1 podcast. And guys, if you want to make that happen, give this podcast 5 stars, by the way, because that really helps. And I really want to bring this podcast to the masses. Like, I want to bring this podcast to every single fucking girl, because they fucking deserve it, you know? And so my vision is really big, and it's so big sometimes that it almost crushes me. It's like like, goddamn, like, can I really do all that? But I'm just learning to embrace that more and more. I'm really learning to trust more and more that I am capable. And I'm not gonna say that it's always easy. It's really not always easy. Like, for the most part, it's really hard, but it is getting easier. Like, I've noticed that my vision board and my manifestations for 2024 are so big. Like, they're so big, and big in the sense of, like, first of all, they're a lot. Like, last year I had like maybe 10 things on my list. This year I swear I have like 20 or something, and all of them are like really important, but not necessarily super big. Some of them are smaller than others, like investing in stocks, like publishing my Spotify artist page, like all those things, right? But then there's the bigger ones, like reaching the 10K downloads on Spotify, or on my podcast on Spotify, like getting to 1K months every month, so 1,000 euros every month from my business as profit, like all these things, right? And so yeah, I'm manifesting a lot of things this year, and it's kind of scary. But I don't think I've ever felt more capable than now. I'm not saying that I feel invincible, because I don't, for sure, but I definitely feel more capable than ever before, and I think that's already such a win, you know? And a lot of things have been helping for that. Like, I've been doing a lot of inner work about that. Let me take a sip of my tea, girls. It's kind of cold, and again, I'm feeling in the cozy mood. Also, my mug says, create your own miracle. I love this mug. I always use this mug, especially when I'm working, because it's like, no, we're manifesting greatness. We're making miracles happen in here. So, of course, it's not just me, it's you guys too. But yeah, so it's really crazy to think that I'm putting so many big things on my list. But I do think that this year is going to be all about expansion. Again, it's the year number 8. I don't know if I've talked about this before, and I am going to talk about it more during the podcast episode that is specific for 2024. But the number 8 is all about expansion, infinite possibilities and opportunities, and I think it's gonna be a really crazy, awesome year where I think I'm just gonna overcome so many limitations and so many like barriers that I thought were there that actually aren't. I think I'm just gonna like, what's the word? I think I'm gonna reinvent myself in many ways, and that comes with challenges, which I'm actually scared of. But I do think that I'm gonna have a lot of evolution this year. I really think that. I mean, this year was already kind of a little bit of that, but I feel like I'm more centered, I'm more grounded, I have a clearer vision. So let's see what happens. I mean, you're gonna be here hopefully to witness that, but also I'm obviously gonna like help you out with your own journey and inspire you and give you my tips and just, you know, share my wisdom and my knowledge with you guys from a place of we're all figuring it out. So let's do this together, you know, because it pretty much sucks when you're doing it alone. But yeah, and so kind of to conclude this, I have also been reflecting on this year, right? And what I can see from this year, I think, is I have been proven by myself and by the universe time and time again that it is possible and that I am capable. I think those are the biggest things for me this year. It's possible for me. I've seen so much proof of it. So much proof. And if you look carefully and if you look closely to your life, you're gonna start noticing like the universe is constantly giving you these like little gifts, these like little hints, and it's always pointing towards the it's possible direction. Always, like literally always, when you learn to look at it. Because if you're looking at it and if you're still pretty much in the narrative of life is hard and I can't do it, or it's not possible, and there is always a reason for you why it's not possible and why you can't make it happen, and why, like, it doesn't matter. But if you notice that when people talk about, oh, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, like maybe this is a way, like even when you hear me talk and the first thing that comes to your mind is a reason, a justification as to why it isn't for you, why you can't make it happen, or why you're not capable, I want you to know that that is bullshit. Like, it is you telling bullshit to yourself out of fear. And I'm not saying this to shame you, I'm saying this to please become aware, because like it really frustrates me out of love. It frustrates me out of love because I want to help you. Like I want to help people and I want to inspire them, and nothing makes me happier than feeling like people are like figuring it out, choosing themselves, like manifesting their dreams, like making things happen. Like it's beautiful to see. It's honestly beautiful, inspiring. It inspires me to see that. And there are some people in my life I'm specifically thinking about my mom. I honestly, like, this is so funny to me. You guys can laugh too. It's just every time I think about like limiting beliefs and about someone with excuses and all that, I always think about my mom, because she's literally the embodiment of all of that. And it doesn't come from a bad place, but it's like it really frustrates me the most because I care about her. And so she's always there too, and it's a living example of the things that I don't want you to go through, the things that I don't want for myself, which is I don't want to be so limited by my narrow vision of like the world, that it's not possible and everyone is suffering and it's a struggle all the time and everything is expensive and blah, 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 like all these things that literally suffocate your dreams. Your limiting beliefs and the narratives that you're telling yourself shouldn't be suffocating your dreams. They should be not elevating. They should be, what's the word I'm looking for? They should be jump-starting them or triggering them in a good way. Like they should be the trigger of making something happen, or at least enough fire, enough spark that it makes you initiate something. It makes you take another step. It doesn't matter, like, but if you notice that your beliefs, if you notice that every time I'm talking about these things and being a millionaire and, you know, creating the life of your dreams, or manifesting your love, your desired love, whatever it is, and you constantly feel like, well, men are not la la la, and there's always an excuse, or there's always a belief that comes up right away, that's your ego. And I want you to know that that's your ego, and it is possible to dismantle that. I have done a lot of that work. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. No one is. We all have limiting beliefs to a certain extent. I mean, everyone I know, everyone I follow, everyone, like literally everyone in my like world, from people that I've heard of to people that I know personally to people that I know intimately to people that like are friends of friends, blah, blah, blah. Like all of us have limiting beliefs. We're humans, you know, we have ego, we have, like, it's okay. We're not necessarily supposed to completely kill all of that, because I don't know if it's possible, but it's not the point. Wait, I have a hair on my, okay. It's not the point. The point is to continuously work to free yourself more and more, to open up more and more to your desired reality, to the things that you want to create, to unlock more and more doors. With each door comes a new lock. you know? Like it's okay. And so this year, 2024 is coming, and I want you to know that it is possible. And if you don't believe it, then at least promise yourself that you're gonna find out a way to believe. Promise yourself that you're gonna maybe take a course, maybe continue to listen to this podcast, maybe work personally, yeah, but work privately with me, or work, like come to the Goddess Codes, for example. It's a really great group if you really want to start that journey, but you're not really ready to commit like financially, or you just want to be surrounded by people that also inspire you and that hype you up and make you feel like you're not alone in your journey. Like, you know, we're all struggling, we're all like, I always share my stories there, I always share my struggles there to an extent that I don't share anywhere else. And so maybe, you know, invite a space like that, invite community into your life, or start reading more books about it, or I don't know, like do something, but do something. I think that's the thing, you know, do something about it. Don't just be okay with it, because it's not okay, and you know it's not okay. So choose yourself enough to at least try to find out another way, to at least try to find out what it is like to believe, what it is like to find other doors. Because like, isn't it crazy how so many people around you on social media, whatever, are finding these doors and are finding these opportunities and are manifesting their dream life? Isn't that crazy that they're doing that and you aren't? Like, if you think rationally about it, doesn't that mean that somehow it has to be possible for you too? Because you might think you're not enough and you might have all these beliefs, but deep down, I mean, you have a brain and you're not necessarily dumb, right? Like, you can at least recognize that. I'm not saying that you are dumb. I'm just saying, like, from your perspective, you might think, yeah, I'm not like dumb. Like, maybe I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not dumb. So I can think properly. I can think enough. I have ideas. I have this and that. Like, I have certain skills. I have certain strengths, just like some other people have other strengths. And all of the, like, a lot of these people that you're listening to have come from like a background of not having that life. Most people that you're listening to did not grow up already with everything that they've created. They've created it for a reason. Like, it came out of nothing. Well, out of somewhere, but physically speaking, it came out of nothing. It didn't exist until they created that life for themselves. And so how can you not be able to make that happen if so many people around you are doing it? If I can do it, everyone can. For so many years, for decades, since I've been alive, like for 21 years, I thought it was not possible for me. I really thought that I was too weak to everything and not enough of a lot of things, and so it wasn't possible for me. I genuinely didn't understand, you know? And so at least commit to finding a way of believing a little that it is possible for you too. Find a way. Just find a way. You know? Because it is possible. You can make it happen. And life can change. You can change. And you can manifest a lot of great things into your life. Like, honestly, I did not think like a year ago that I would be where I am. In a lot of ways, I was expecting myself to have a lot more things in terms of physical proof. Like, I was expecting myself to have more money at this point for my business, or I don't know if I was expecting it actually, but I wanted it. I don't think I truly believed that I could, but I wanted it, and I thought I had to, because if I didn't, it meant that I was failing and that I wasn't successful as a business owner, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. I thought that made me unsuccessful. And so I felt like it was kind of my obligation. It was it was what it was expected of me. And in a way, it was what I was pressuring myself to accomplish. And although I didn't accomplish certain things, again, I realize now that I didn't have to, because I have gained what I needed with the journey that I've been on. I've gained the resilience, I've gained the confidence, I've gained the perspective. I've gained so many tools, so much wisdom that I know are going to take me to where I want to go. But where I want to go cannot be more important than what I have right now and where I am right now, because then I'm not really living. I'm not really enjoying myself. I'm not really creating my dream life. I'm not even living. I'm just, existing for the day after and the day after and the day after. But what about today? What about right now? What about everything that can happen right now? Every second is a new second that you get to enjoy, that you get to make something out of. And I don't want to waste that thinking that I always have to be somewhere else and I have to accomplish more and I have to, that it's never enough. I don't want to be there. For me, that's been a big thing, which is I want to feel abundant before, or not before. I want to feel abundant, period. It doesn't matter where I am in my life. It doesn't matter where my circumstances are. I want to be abundant. I want to feel successful. I want to feel worthy, no matter what happens around me. No matter what, literally no matter what. Because that's the truth. I know it is possible to feel abundant without having $1 million or €1 million on my bank account. I know it is possible because I've seen other people do that. I've seen other people accomplish that. And so I know it is possible for me too. And so I would rather work on that. And I know I'm going to figure the rest out as I go, but I would rather work on how I feel. Because ultimately, everything you want is because you want to feel a certain way. You want a car because you want more freedom. You want more money because you want more independence, and you want to experience certain things that make you feel excited. You want more fun, you want more adventure. You want love because you want to feel worthy, because you want to feel loved, because you want to feel comfortable, because you want to feel cared for. All those things are associated with feelings. And so when you realize that, you can start understanding that, okay, then how can I feel that way before or despite having or not having those things? And I feel like that has really helped me feel good and feel whatever I needed to feel despite my circumstances. And again, I'm not mastering this as of right now, as of currently, but it's been much better. For real, I think this year was basically me kind of starting that process, and I feel like next year is going to go to a whole other level, because I've just been working on that. I've been working on trusting the process, trusting my timing, trusting that I'm being guided, that I'm being supported by the universe, trusting that I am doing my part. I don't trust that. I know that. I know that shit because I'm showing up. I show up for here. Even if I had all the money in the world, I would still do this. But the point is, despite not having all the money in the world right now, I'm still going to show up. A podcast that I listen to, it's called The Priestess Perspective. I love that podcast. Kind of jealous of her a bit because she's a bad bitch and she kind of brings out my insecurities about myself. I'm just putting it out there. It's the truth. I want to be real with you guys. But she did an episode the other day talking about manifest without evidence. I think that's the title. It was one of her recent episodes. It was really fucking powerful, and it's always good to have that reminder, which is you get to, it's learning to believe your vision without having the proof right away. I think last year in 2023, I wanted the money, I wanted the views, I wanted the downloads, I wanted all of that because I felt like if I didn't get that, again, I wouldn't be successful. And I was craving that so much. I spent almost the entire year just craving that, feeling frustrated for not having a certain view, for not having certain views, for not having more comments, for not having more interactions, for not having more sales, and it really frustrated me, and it kept bringing me down and down and down. And suddenly I'm like, wait, constantly over and over again, I get back to this place of, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Because I'm so focused on where I'm not, that I'm not realizing how much I have. And in the past, this entire month of December, I've been doing this work, and thankfully I have my best friend, my bestie, my wifey. She's been helping me a lot work through these things. And we were on a call the other day, well, a few weeks ago, and I was just crying and telling her, like, I feel frustrated and I feel unworthy and I feel these, like, we were really working through it together. She's amazing. I love when she does this, because she's a shadow worker. She does shadow work, and she helps others do that. And well, she helped me that day, and we were just like, she was just walking me through it, and she helped me face a lot of these pain points, a lot of these wounds, a lot of these shadows. And after that, like, it became clearer what was happening inside of me, and I realized, like, okay, I'm doing all these things and I'm chasing this validation. It's what's happening. Like, I'm chasing validation, whether it's chasing validation in the numbers, in the money, in the views, and whatever, whether it's chasing validation in how other people are interacting with me, how many people are telling me, like, oh my god, I love your thing, I love blah, how people are showing up in my membership and my programs, like, all of that. I was chasing that approval, I was chasing that validation, that what I was doing was enough, that what I was doing was powerful, that I am capable, that I can make it happen, that I can be successful, that I can create the business of my dreams. I was chasing after that externally. And when she kind of brought this to my attention, I realized, like, oh my god, like, I fell into this trap again. And it's okay. This is why I think it's so important to have guidance, to have support, whether that's through a friend, whether that's through a coach, or whether that's through community. But it's so important to have someone that can, like, give you a wake-up call and be like, dude, help you navigate what you need to navigate and be like, look, this is what's happening. Help you realize when you're falling into that pattern again, when you're falling into the self-destruction or self-sabotage, when you're falling into your imposter syndrome and you're stopping yourself and blocking yourself from getting where you want to be and feel how you want to feel and manifesting what you desire. And so for me, these past few weeks, it's all been about, let me validate myself then. Now that I'm realizing that I'm looking for validation externally, this only means that I need to validate myself internally, that I need to validate myself. And so I actually created a self-validation list, and I've been writing on it almost every single day. Every time I do something, like, I'm going to finish recording this podcast, and today at night, it's kind of already night almost, but whatever. I'm gonna, like, write down that, I did this podcast. I did it, and I did content for the rest of the week, and I showed up for my business. I showed up to my commitment. I want to validate myself for it, because every time I do, it reminds me, wait, like, I'm actually doing the things. Because when I don't validate myself, I'm always wondering, am I doing enough? But when I'm validating myself with everything that I do, I'm like, oh wait, I am doing enough. I'm doing more than enough. I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm doing my part. And suddenly when I recognize I'm doing my part, I understand that everything else is not up to me. If I'm doing my part, if you're doing your part, it means that you need to leave the rest to the universe. The universe is doing their part. You just need to make sure that you're doing yours. And for 2024, that means showing the fuck up for yourself. That means doing the things. That means don't just let your dreams be dreams. Don't just let your goals be goals. Like, make them happen. Like, find a way. Like, do something that you know you can stick to. If you can't stick to your goal, to your routine, to that thing, to that new habit right away, find something smaller. If you can't stick to a morning routine, at least make sure that you make your bed every day. If you can't stick to a night routine, make sure that you brush your teeth every day. Like, all these small things make a huge difference, because then it builds up and it makes you realize that, okay, I can do these things. I can change my habits. I can implement new things. Like, life can change. And suddenly you're willing to do a bit more, and a bit more after that, and a bit more after that. And that's how you change. You change gradually. You grow gradually. You don't grow at once. You do not grow all at once. You do not manifest everything in a snap of fingers and that's it. Like, it takes time, and that's okay, because it's supposed to take time, because you're not ready for everything that you desire right now. Like, I wasn't ready to visit Lisa, to visit my best friend, like a year ago. I wasn't ready. I genuinely wasn't. It wouldn't have been what I desired it to be. Just like if I had $1 million right now, €1 million right now, it wouldn't be what I truly want it to be. It wouldn't, because I'm not, like, at this point, I'm still working on making space energetically and mentally to receive that money, to hold space for that money, to be able to manage that money. If I received 1 fucking million euros, I would probably panic. I would be like, oh my god, what do I do? Like, it's getting better for real. Like, I'm creating the structures, I'm shifting my mindset, I'm opening up more and more. But the point is, you're not supposed to manifest it all at once, because your life is about constantly manifesting, gradually manifesting. It's about becoming. So you're constantly becoming something, you're constantly evolving. You're not supposed to just be, or no, you're not supposed to get somewhere, you're supposed to go somewhere. Does that make sense? Like, you're not supposed to reach a certain point, you're supposed to live. Like, you're not supposed to reach a goal and that's it. Life doesn't finish after that. You don't die when you reach a goal, and that's for a reason, because life continues. There's more goals, there's more things to create, there's always more. You die when you die, but my point is, it's about who you're becoming. It's about what's happening. It's not about just reaching something and that's it. Because reaching something does not mean that you're going to be happy. It doesn't mean that you're going to feel what you want to feel. If you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. And so it's okay that it takes time. Just commit to that. Commit to showing up. It has really helped me so much, and I'm just so proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself, and I hope you guys can find things to be proud of for what you did this year and how you did things, even if it's the smallest things, because it makes a difference. It does. And little by little, my life has been changing. Even in 1 year, so much has changed. Like, I cannot begin to imagine who I'm gonna be in 2024. I mean, I'm gonna be a bad bitch. I already know that part, but I already am. So but it's like, I know I'm going to be really different in the best way, because I'm going to continue to choose myself and continue to choose expansion and growth and continue to, like, choose my vision. But I don't know exactly who she's going to look like, the Bia from the future. I don't know. We'll see. You guys will know, because, you'll be here. But I don't know. What I know is that I'm definitely learning to become a more confident version of myself. A version of myself that feels safe and secure in her leadership role. Because I do run a business after all. And I do a lot of things. And I want to feel confident in it. Like, I don't want to look at other podcasts or listen to other podcasts and look at other people online and be like, damn, they're the good ones. Like, I kind of suck. Like, no, I'm great. I'm awesome. Like, I want to believe that fully. I feel like I believe that right now, like 70%. Let's be honest, like 70, 75. Sometimes if it's really bad, it's like a 50 or a 30. But for the most part, I'd say, like, on average, it's a 70%. Or maybe 75. Lately it has been 75 on average. Some days are definitely better. But it's like, that's what I want. That's what I'm, not just what I want, but that's what I'm going to be creating. That's what I'm going to be working on. I don't just want things and that's it. Like, I do whatever it takes to get there. I do whatever it takes to get there energetically. Again, it's to become that. I do whatever it takes because I deserve it. I really do. And you deserve it too. So we're gonna make that the best fucking year so far, because every year is better than than the previous one. So we're gonna make this happen, guys. I'm really excited for it. Oh, and I'm so excited to see Lisa tomorrow. Oh my god. I'm gonna be recording everything. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you have to. Like, I'm gonna leave my information below in the description of this episode. but you should definitely follow me on Instagram because I'm constantly sharing stuff there. I'm constantly sharing reels. My captions are always really fucking great. You should read them. If you don't, you should. And my stories, I'm always sharing stuff in my stories, and I'm already kind of preparing myself to be recording when I see her because I really want to have that forever. Hopefully, if my phone doesn't delete it by accident or something, but I would love to have that memory recorded, and so you guys are gonna see it firsthand, and I'm super excited about it. But yeah, that was it. That was longer than I expected, but at the same time, like, am I surprised? Not really, because I always talk so much, and so deep down it is kind of expected that I wouldn't talk for less than 40 minutes. I swear I try, but suddenly like something happens and I start talking. Kind of makes me feel shitty for a reason, because it's like, I don't know, I look at other podcasts, and for the most part, the ones that I listen to, they're like shorter episodes. Like, guys, my episodes are usually 1 hour, and I talk by myself. Like, I'm talking to you, but I'm talking alone, you know? Like, I'm talking by myself, and I'm making 1 hour fucking episodes, and I'm spitting all over. But yeah, I love talking to you guys. I really love sharing this. I love having these deep conversations with you. I really feel like you're here with me. I feel like you're listening to me, and you're like, I don't know, I just feel like we're friends, you know? Like, the more I do this, and the more I allow myself to be seen, and the more I allow myself to be myself, to be authentic to me fully, the more I just feel like you're there, you know? The more I feel loved and supported, and I'm really grateful for that, because, and like, I know it's because of you guys that my podcast is going to become number one and it's going to go to the top very quickly in the next years. So yeah, I love you so much, guys. I hope you have a great fucking holiday. I hope you have a great New Year's Eve, because it's coming. I mean, again, I'm gonna be on Instagram, but I don't know if I'm gonna be recording any episodes until January. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.